Hey, this is what has sold in the time intervening between this video and the last what sold video about a month ago. I'm gonna go in regressive order, so starting with what has recently sold and moving backwards. And let's actually start on Poshmark. Let's start with an example of where my methodology runs slightly afoul. So I ran the numbers for this Marion Golf Club shirt in Salvation Army, and it was 100% sell-through. And so I thought, well, within 3 months it'll sell. Sometimes it simply doesn't work, and this was one of those times. Took probably 6 months or so to sell, but sell it did for 13, plus the buyers pay about $6.50 on top. A lot of you in the comments section of the haul video that included this pointed out that the comps were hovering around $100. So I priced it accordingly. I priced it around 100, where maybe I would have priced it lower otherwise, so thanks very much. The reason this sold for 80 bucks is because of this brand. Scotty Cameron is a golf manufacturer that makes golf clubs, very, very high-end, and Peter Millar Summer Comfort, also very high-end. I don't buy a lot of Peter Millar other than the Summer Comfort line of polo shirts and button-up shirts. Could have sold this for more, but sold it within 48 hours of listing it. This is the last of a small lot of Salty Crew shirts that I got that sold for 10 bucks. Salty Crew used to be great, used to be one of my favorite bread and butter brands. It has fallen off. Here's a basic women's diesel t-shirt I got from a bag sale, basically for free. This was a flea market find. I got it for $5, flipped for $25. It is Denim and Supply Ralph Lauren. There was a period of time right when they discontinued Denim and Supply, when the whole brand, that whole tag was in 100% sell-through, very high demand, but it has fallen. It's around 50%, but some pieces are still more valuable than you would think they would be, like this basic hoodie. This is part of a bundle of 3. It's this pair of Patagonia jeans, men's 33, this Untuck It t-shirt, size large, and this pair of Adidas chinos, navy blue pants. Total buy price for that bundle was $63. I'm not going to show you all the Poshmark sales. There are just a bunch of lower end things that are not that interesting. This is a vintage Hawaiian shirt from Burma Beavis, which is not a brand that I buy, but it was vintage and pretty outlandish. Pair of Vans Vanfibian board shorts slash hybrid shorts. I think I mentioned this in another video. These really pedestrian swimwear brands like Vans, O'Neill, Hurley will have higher end shorts on offer that will be in high demand and will sell for more money than you would think, sell for around 20, 25 bucks. And it's a lot of hybrid shorts, walking slash board shorts, or stuff made with recycled materials or some kind of technical wizardry going on with the fabric. So I think this is one of those. Vans Vanfibian. I don't imagine I would have bought these otherwise. Flip for 18. Here is another flea market find. This is a women's Corvette pullover sweater. Flip for 25. I got this probably for around 5. Don't remember if this was in a previous video, but it popped up in the feed, so why not? A Prada t-shirt, flip for 50. On to eBay now. I've been trying to make some progress on the deck pile. I'm about halfway through. It is hard to get back in the swing of doing it, but it's gratifying because a lot of the stuff is flipping same day or next day. This is one of those items. Caton is a swimwear brand that is, I think, my favorite swimwear brand to find. I've never been able to hang on to it for very long. Their older nylon shorts, their vintage shorts, are probably the best swimwear, men's swimwear that you can find in my experience. This sold on offer for 25 bucks today. I could have sat on it and gotten 30, 35, but I just want to give it to someone. This is another one that sold within 48 hours of listing it. It is a Nubitags Brooks Brothers 3XL tall shirt, sold for 36. Here's a pair of North Face running shorts, sold for 40 bucks. A book by Charles Grodin, who recently died. Sold for $80, including free shipping. Another Denim and Supply item. This is a new with tags Union Jack American flag pair of cargo shorts with a camo interior. Absolute no-brainer. Sold within 24 hours for, I think that was full asking price, 70 bucks. Probably could have asked for 100 and maybe gotten 80. Columbia PFG shirt sold within 24 hours, men's medium. These long sleeve vented, really fly fishing shirts is what they are probably the best seller for me. This is what people are really looking for. Here's a new with tags Coogee polo shirt that I thought was going to be a hot seller, and it was a cold seller. It sold finally for 25 bucks after having it up for too long. Lesson learned, Coogee, just stick to the sweaters or stick to the jeans with the big spell out logos on them, brightly colored. The shirts, men's shirts, polo shirts, I don't think do that well. This is a wonderful brand. I found it just a few times, and every time I find it, it is never overpriced because nobody knows about it. It's Coolie Bar, which makes UPF shirts like this, these athletic shirts, sold within 24 hours. They always sell within 24, 48 hours. Just a great brand. Not going to bring you a ton of money, but right in my wheelhouse. Got 26 for this Untuck It linen shirt after some haggling. I feel like the buyer probably got the upper hand a little bit. 26 bucks. I really should have gotten 30 for it at least, but oh well. 26 for an Untuck It. Untuck It, not quite as hot of a seller as it was, but the 100% linen stuff, you should have absolutely no problem with that going into summer. This I got for $1, sold for 28. PlayStation games, obviously, video games, very easy money relatively, and some of the older games, rarer games, can fetch some good profit. Acquired this off of Poshmark, flipped it for 30. Thought I would get a little bit more, but it was really cheap. It was only like a total of less than 10 bucks, definitely off Poshmark, so decent profit there. It is vintage. Didn't realize it was a boy's size, or youth size rather, when I bought it, but it is made in USA, 100% cotton. It's covered in Betsy Johnson patches that just tore right off. Another one that sold within 24 hours. It's a cycling gear company, Swobo. I think it's local to San Diego, and this was covered in flaws. It had issues with the fabric. It had sweat staining on the collar there, and it had pulls on the fabric. Still sold for 30 bucks. Sourced this one with my eye because it was Hunter Thompson. I did get it for pretty cheap, I think under 5 bucks, but it took forever to sell. It's an obscure brand, Lit Gunflint. I don't think means anything to anybody. Yeah, 20 bucks. I am coming to like selling DVDs more and more and more. If you can find obscure ones, they're still in demand. This is not stuff that's available on streaming services readily, or it's stuff that people want on hard copy, like certain Blu-ray movies people really want. This is a DVD, a concert DVD from 30 Seconds to Mars, sold for full asking price, 35 bucks. I got this for $1. And like with Poshmark, I'm not showing you every single sale here, just the good ones. Basquiat from 11 Paris, sold for 45. I said he was French. In the haul video, he is Haitian. Was Haitian. Got this for dirt cheap, less than 5. Duluth Trading Co. shirt. It's an XL, quote-unquote, fishing shirt. I just use that keyword because it's kind of a performance outdoors button-up shirt, so fishing. Took longer than I thought it would to sell. And I think it's because it's mustard yellow, which is not a color that a lot of people wear. Sold for 25. It's kind of a nothing board game. It's a peg game, vintage. Sold for $30. Didn't sit for all that long. There were no comps on eBay, no actives, no solds. I just figured someone probably played this when they were a kid, and it's hard to find, so they'd probably be willing to pay 30 bucks for it, and so they were. Here's a hat that has cool weed on it, and it sold for 20. Did take a while to sell, but somebody wanted to 420 blaze it in a thematically appropriate hat, and so they paid me 20 bucks. Not a good brand, surprisingly. You would think it would be, but sold for 22 bucks just because it's 100% linen. Going into summer, 100% linen clothing is going to be pretty resilient regardless of brand. Brand will still matter, but bad brands, quote unquote bad brands, or relatively lower demand brands, 100% linen stuff, excuse me, is going to do better. So Saks Fifth Avenue, Uniqlo linen has done well for me. Express, all the fast fashion type brands, Bugatti linen has done well. Kind of the mid-tier brands that you wouldn't pick up otherwise, the linen stuff is going to be good. I include this little nothing sale just because American Apparel has proven to be a really, really strong bread and butter brand for me. I don't know exactly what the sell-through numbers are, but just consistently it's been a good seller. They don't make it anymore. American Apparel went down in flames fairly recently. It's all made in USA in Los Angeles, or at least it was. A new with tags Quicksilver, which is not a good brand, but new with tags, sold for $24. Here's a great bolo. I got these for free, and sold for $65. I had them listed for $100. The brand is this, Albino and Prado, or Albino and Prado. They make MMA clothing, and even though it was very locally specific to San Diego, this is a neighborhood in San Diego, sold for $65. MMA clothing in general is desired, and this brand is very, very high-end, apparently. I didn't know before I just acquired these things. Sweatpants athleisure are still doing really well. This is a cheapo pair of Hollister sweatpants, sold for 20 bucks and sold really quick. Here's a vintage paperback. I think this is a Vietnam memoir, sold for 20. Another American Apparel, just a basic polo shirt, men's large, sold for 10 bucks. I think I got this one for free as well. Rare DVD, this is a forgotten comedy based on a Kurt Vonnegut book, sold for 30 bucks. I got a ton of lowball offers on this one before someone just snapped it up for 30. Here's one of those books from the big glorious vintage book haul that I got from the flea market. Did a video on that, sold for $13.49, not a huge seller. If you're curious about books, book selling, or you want to hear me pontificate about the books that I read, I have a second channel called Book Pilled. I will link it in the description. It's all about books. This I got for $5 from a flea market. It is a vintage handheld LCD fishing game, sold for $30. Got this one for $1 at a dollar sale. Athleta seems to be pretty solid. I don't do a lot of women's clothing, but it seems desirable. This one was kind of a failure. I had this priced way up because it's a pretty obscure menswear brand, Frank Namani. And then I finally just capitulated and sold it for $20 to be rid of it because I'd had it for about a year. Another high dollar book sale. This is an old technical book for the Mustang. Sold for $80. Got a couple of pretty pissed off messages from buyers who wanted me to lower the price, and I did not. And I was rewarded for my greed. Another one of those Columbia PFG shirts. This is from Bob Buys, Heroin Bob. Good channel, check her out. Sold 3 of these in the same size. I got a big haul of new with tags Cherokee scrubs at a dollar sale for $1 each, and I've just been incrementally selling them off. So this was, I think, 35 bucks in total. Awesome sale. I got this for $7, sold for $80 right away. I think within 48 hours. It's a cycling suit, outfit, costume. One piece. Had never seen the brand. I just know cycling stuff. Niche sports. I'm sure curling gear and cross-country skiing gear, if they make clothing for it, I'm sure it's the same thing. People get deadly serious about their sports and their hobbies. 80 bucks from 7, awesome. This is, I think, the 3rd time I've sold this exact DVD. Brian Regan's I Walked on the Moon, a serviceable stand-up comedy special from 2004. They always sell immediately as soon as I list them. This shirt was a marathon. Like 3 different people bought it and then didn't pay for it. I think I might have gotten a return on it as well. I don't know. This was an ordeal. This was an odyssey, and finally it sold and it stuck. 21 bucks. It's a vintage t-shirt from this brand. Crazy shirts. Some of this stuff is worth okay money. This was from that vintage book haul. 27 bucks. Probably less than $1 into this. Bras are actually great sellers, and there's a good rule of thumb, which is the large size, the really cool sizes of bra tend to sell really well. I think I've sold them regardless of brands. Not my area of reselling expertise, but I got this for free, sold for 15. Another one from the vintage haul, I'm pretty sure, Marquis of O, sold for 25. Not all of these Signet Classics sell, but I've had great luck overall with this line of books, or I don't know what the correct terminology is, but these vintage Signet books, Signet Classics, with those aesthetics, people like them. 55, I got these for 15 at a flea market. Unfortunately, it got returns. The person said they just didn't like them. I have to relist them, but yeah, that was a quick sale. 511 Tactical stuff has done really well for me. Got 2 of these from a flea market. This one sold for 20 bucks. It's an obscure, I think, Czech brand of beer. No, New Zealand. And yeah, 20 bucks. Yeah, this one was incredible. I didn't actually find this. My dad found this. I was at a flea market with my parents, and he grabbed this and showed it to me, and bought it for, I think, 10 bucks. This is an example of real life knowledge paying off in reselling. This sold for 200 bucks. It sold pretty quick. This is a very famous sport fishing boat that, I don't know if it's still around. I think we're on to Royal Polaris 3 or 4, actually, so it's probably not around. It's probably decommissioned, but very famous tuna fishing boat that operates out of San Diego. And this is a vintage made in USA from the 80s. Bomber jacket, varsity jacket, whatever you want to call it. That's not a varsity jacket, it's a bomber jacket. And it's all rusted out, covered in stains. But I had a hunch that because it was the Royal Polaris, some collector would want this. And they did, 200 bucks. So this gives you some ideas for your own business, what to source, and some encouragement, because most of that stuff, or a lot of it, sold within 2 days of listing it, which is always gratifying. If you want to learn how to pull that feed off, I have a free product. It's free / pay what you want, called the Menswear Manifesto. There'll be a link to it in the description. It's all the brands, or most of the brands that I know about that are high sell-through or high value, and I break it down by category of clothing item, what is selling or what was selling when I wrote the thing. So check it out if you want. If you get value out of it, feel free to buy me a coffee or something. So thanks for watching. Good luck.